In the early 80s, a group of Cumberlandites shot and produced the musical classic Woonsocket. Shot in glorious Super 8 format, the movie remains a classic, although decidedly behind the times in terms of technical achievement. Conceptually drawn from the Beatles' Help, Magical Mystery Tour, and the Moody Blues Days of Future Past, the film depicts the life of the average Woonsocketer during the late 60s. The film retains a certain 60s charm evident in amateur productions of that era, as home movie making became more popular. The original soundtrack is a montage of music gems, augmented by the vocal renditions of Marcel French, featuring slightly altered lyrics to some of the more popular music of that era, including I Left My Lot in East Woonsocket, done to the tune of Tony Bennett's I Left My Heart in San Francisco. Side by Each, done to the tune of McCartney's Yesterday. Blackstone River, done to the tune of the theme to the Broadway musical Moon River. The Downtown Story, done to the tune of the theme from the movie Love Story. The Mills of Woonsocket, done to the tune of Julie Andrews' The Sound of Music. Somewhere Over Woonsocket, done to the tune of The Wizard of Oz's Somewhere Over the Rainbow. The movie began first as a soundtrack for a high school music project proposed in Nectar Lennox's class in 1972, who said it couldn't be done. When multi-track recording became affordable in the late 1970s, the original storyboard concept was recorded on my new 4-track Tascam deck. Each song segment was first recorded individually, then pre-mixed, running into each other similar to the old Moody Blues albums. The lyrics and sound effects were later added after a few beers, and dubbed on the remaining 2 tracks. The 4-track tape was then remixed and released in cassette format to be played at parties for laughs. At one party, Jerry Morrell proposed shooting the accompanying visuals to match each song's lyrics. Each song became a skit of a scene described in Marcel French's lyric, with vintage Woonsocket landscapes serving as a backdrop to the action. Filming took place during the early 80s, just before the advent of VHS camcorders. The filming was done and completed quickly on 3 or 4 weekends regardless of the weather. The actors were chosen randomly based on availability. All movie scenes were completed in one take using a stopwatch to synchronize the camera action to the music. Later, skits were spliced together on a ping-pong table using a razor blade calculator and stopwatch. Finally, the music was dubbed back on the Super 8 film and played at a party. When VHS became popular 2 years later, the film was converted to that format, and several copies were distributed for home viewing to all the actors. Among the movie's stars are the Tashians, who have gone on to fame with the Farrelly brothers in There's Something About Mary and Me, Myself, and Irene. Muffy Tashian stars in The Mills of Woonsocket, the subject of There's Something About Mary. Doug and Warren Tashian appear in The Downtown Story as members of the Autumn Festival Orchestra. John Tashian is also featured in the Blackstone River Fishing Expedition. The Pockets and the Morells provided the technical stuff and cemented the production. The whole movie cost about $25 to make. It's a classic. Enjoy it.